This video is your guide to the proposed streetscape improvements for Queensway and Westbourne Grove. It has been created to give you, your neighbours and visitors to the area the information and opportunity to contribute to discussions. The site is located in the west of the City of Westminster. It runs from Queensway Underground Station near Kensington Gardens, north up Queensway, past Whitley Shopping Centre to the junction with Westbourne Grove. From here the site continues west to the junction with Chepstow Place. A quick walk along these streets reveals a number of issues affecting people's experience of the area. These include a mix of poor quality pavements, clutter, intimidating crossings and a sense of traffic dominance. There is also a lack of trees, partly due to the narrow pavements, especially on Westbourne Grove. Where possible, we are hoping to increase tree planting by widening pavements, or if not feasible, by planting in the side streets to provide a general increase in the levels of greenery. There are numerous things we can do to make the streets more pleasurable to use. We can make sure the pavements are replaced by new surfaces, and we can make the crossings raised to make them easier for pedestrians crossing the street, particularly at side streets. The current sense of traffic dominance can be reduced by taking opportunities to widen the pavements and by resurfacing loading and parking bays so they can be used for parking at some times of the day, but then by pedestrians at other times of the day. We can also try to remove clutter from the streets and, where safe to do so, remove some guardrails which will also make crossing simpler and more pleasant for pedestrians. We are keen to hear your thoughts on how lighting along the streets can be improved. The images show St John's Wood High Street, which was much improved by introducing these lights with more character. We would also like your views on how and where we could be providing seating. Where possible, we are aiming to increase the number of trees. In places, widening the pavements will help make this possible. Where the main road is too narrow for this, further greening may be achieved by increased tree planting on the side streets. Furthermore, features such as green walls, where the appropriate freeholders are in agreement, could increase the level of greening.
I'm Martin Whittles from Westminster City Council. I'll be overseeing improvements to Queensway and Westbourne Grove. Out of this consultation, we'd like to get a very clear plan of how we can improve Queensway and Westbourne Grove, although the improvements will take several years. It's likely our first phase will be towards the north of Queensway. This will benefit both Queensway and Westbourne Grove. Now my colleague will describe the sections of Westbourne Grove and Queensway and what improvements we can make in more detail.
Starting with the western gateway to Westbourne Grove, on this panoramic image we can see many of the previously identified issues which are highlighted here in red. Now we see the proposed improvements with crossings resurfaced in a light buff coloured anti-skid finish, the possible removal of guardrails subject to safety audits, new paving on footpaths to promote more of a seamless and consistent surface finish, and the reordering of street furniture, all working towards creating a cleaner, more pedestrian-friendly space. You can now see these proposals on the plan drawing, showing the new arrangement of cycle stands splaying and following the curve to act as a subtle barrier to deter people crossing diagonally should the safety barriers be removed. At the other end of Westbourne Grove, at the junction with Bishop's Bridge Road, lies the eastern gateway into the area. The key issues are again identified in red. Apart from the resurfaced crossings, clear paving and possible guard removal, as mentioned a moment ago, a distinctive feature on this proposal image is the idea of framing the view into the site. The existing tree on the south side will be replaced with a species with a more open canopy, allowing glimpses and views through into the space beyond, whilst further into the site at the junction between Queensway and Westbourne Grove, on the north side, a new piece of public art. Together these will form a framed view to mark the gateway into the area. The third area is the junction of Queensway and Westbourne Grove. First we see the key existing issues on the northern side shown here, a junction which appears vast and a similar range of other issues as before. This stretch of road is one way with 2 traffic lanes, one either side of an island that contains public conveniences. Here we propose pedestrianising the western lane of traffic in order to create a new small public space with new seating, an informal arrangement of trees and the new piece of public art mentioned a moment ago. On the proposal we can clearly see the newly pedestrianised left-hand side of the northern section, and on the plan view the new trees for this pedestrianised area are shown in more detail alongside the new piece of public art. To the south of the same junction, key issues include the underused lane of traffic and a junction that appears vast and very pedestrian unfriendly. A key aim is to reduce the sense of the vast crossing. We can use the same improvements, paving consistency, resurfacing of crossings, guardrail removal and greening to achieve this. As the only stretch of Queensway that is two-way, we propose reducing the 2 southbound lanes down to 1, but retaining a loading bay at this point to allow sufficient turning space for delivery vehicles. On the proposal image, the feeling of space is again increased through distinct surfacing on the loading bay and proposed trees in the central reservation with the aim of further humanising and softening the scale of the space. The section of Queensway alongside Whitley's clearly shows the current issues with poor quality road surfaces which are proposed to be tackled throughout the improvement programme. Looking down Queensway alongside Whitley's, we can see the road is unnecessarily wide given that it is one way with less traffic and transport services than Westbourne Grove. We propose removing the central reservation and designated bus lane in order to give more room back to pedestrians. We can see this in the second image, with a wide boardwalk outside Whitley's, a widened pavement on the east side and a new line of trees, all helping to create a destination space, a more active frontage to Whitley's and a space that's generally more attractive to shoppers. Loading and taxi bays will still be provided, hopefully finished in sets. At the other end of Queensway, with the junction with Bayswater Road and the Royal Parks, is a southern gateway to the site. A key issue here is that the area is very cluttered and hard to negotiate as a pedestrian. A key aim is to make Queensway more inviting to walk along and reduce street clutter to provide greater clarity and legibility to the space, and also to strengthen visual and physical links to the Royal Parks. We propose simplifying crossings with resurfacing as suggested across the site, and also guardrail removal, all subject to safety audits. We also propose new pavements throughout. This summarises the Queensway and Westbourne Grove streetscape improvement proposals. Thank you very much for watching, and we really do want to know your comments and get your feedback on the issues raised and proposals put forward here. You can download a PDF summary, and we'd be grateful if you could answer a few questions on the survey. Both can be seen below this video on the Westminster website. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you.